Today we've come together to celebrate, but also bring life or breathe life into the claim Future Female Africa. And that claim has been used online, on social media, kind of like a chant. So women say this, women put it on their t-shirts. Women of African descent say this to empower themselves. But there's also truth to it, and that truth we kind of want to explore a bit more. When Wanjiro was speaking about like interdisciplinary spaces, what we meant is that women of African descent take leadership in different areas in the world. So, for example, in this room there we have actors, we have entrepreneurs, we have journalists, we have authors, we have musicians, we have fashion entrepreneurs as well, so designers, all kinds of women from all walks of life who decided to take on a leading role in creating a future that is better or wider or broader for them and their future. I want to introduce the panel first, and then we're going to start with the opening question, and then we're going to see like a bit how it flows, okay? Let's say we start from this end to that end. Yeah? Okay. The panel is in English, by the way. I know you thought it's going to be in German. Haha. Don't forget to turn your mic on.
It's on.
Yeah? Yeah, okay, cool. Who are you?
I'm Lucy Lavi. I'm from Hamburg. I'm a business consultant or agile business consultant and founder of FOG Germany, Future of Ghana Germany. And I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Welcome, Lucy. Thank you for being here. And who are you? Everyone knows you were late. That we already know.
I mean, it was really... Oh, is my mic on? Oh, no, it's on. Okay. So, yeah, I'm really sorry for my lateness. But beside being late, I'm also a person who curates and organizes events around poetry and music. I'm a dancer and a poet myself, and I love different tonalities and languages. Yeah, that's me.
And your name is?
Oh, I just assumed that everybody knows my name. I was joking. Wow. I was just joking. I'm just joking. My name is Jumoke. Jumoke Adeonju, but just call me Jumi. So, thank you.
Thank you for being here, Jumi.
Hey, ladies. My name is Martina Ofei. I'm based in Hamburg as well, and I'm the founder of the fashion label Ashes and Soil. So what we do is to capture the stories of minorities, especially those that are underrepresented, unseen, unheard. So that's me.
Nice. My name is Luisa or Isa Konga. I'm the founder of Yoga Konga, a brand for yoga wear and accessoires. I also teach Smite Tawi, and at times I also study mechanical engineering.
At times, on the side. That's the side hustle. All right, now that you have introduced yourselves, I want to ask you the burning question of the night, which is, what does Future Female Africa actually mean to you? Individually, maybe, in your personal lives, but also maybe from your perspective on what you have observed currently women of African descent doing in the world. Whoever wants to start can start. Don't be shy.
Like, for me, it's a feeling. It's about a feeling that I get from like community and a company of like strong black women. Sometimes I'm afraid that it's just a bubble where I'm in. But then I see so many new projects started by black amazing women, and it's always a pleasure to see everybody to bring more life, more identity, more passion, but also like a sense of like proudness to this world. Yeah.
I think what you're talking about is ownership, because when I started my fashion label, I studied fashion and textile management. And the reason I didn't pursue a career in the fashion field is because I didn't feel seen. So I was in a space where there were mainly white women. And I felt like, okay, I can't come into the space with all that I am. So I can definitely relate to what you're saying.
Yes.
So I don't know. So when I think of future female Africa, I think of the first female presidents of African nations, where there were like more female representatives in like Nigerian governmental systems, in the Minister of Petrol, Minister of Finance, you know, and the former Minister of Finance is now like the head of the head of the WHO. So I'm just thinking of all these female leaders in the political system of African countries, because also my parents were like, we want you to be the first female president of Nigeria. So I don't know, I feel like a lot of, daughters have heard that. And it's very interesting to have had that empowerment from home in some ways, from your father, or like from from any figure that is older than you, to hear that this is what we envisioned for you. So when I think of future female Africa, I think of my uncles, my aunties, and all those annoying dinner table talks. So what are you going to do with your life? So, and I remember when I was young, I mean, this is like a very personal story, but when I was young, I was so like annoyed because I felt so pressured. But now I'm really, really happy that I had that, because it's just love. It's just like the love and the desire to see your own generation outgrow themselves, even though you're in a country that is just doing the exact opposite. And I think that just gave me the confidence that I have today, honestly, because I would just be crushed if I didn't have those words of like, even if it was like pressuring, but it was just like, yeah, my own parents, they see me there, like, they want to see me, almost like forcibly. But it's just so beautiful. And I feel like I'm going to do this with my kids too, or my nephews. And not in that way, but like, pedagogically we've grown. So, but just be like, I want you to outgrow yourself. Like, you can make it happen,
There's almost nothing I can add to all of what you said. But to me, when I thought about this word, Female Future Africa, on the train when we came here, and it was really hard for me to actually find what it means to me, because it's still very abstract. But if I think of it, I think of two things. So to me, Female Future Africa, to me, means a think tank. So a space where female intellectualism can come together and create something that is sustainable and also worth for the next generation, because I think we need to think for the next generation. We can do only as much as we can, and the next generation can do better. So I think we need to create a think tank of female opinions, female leaders, female founders, so something like what we're doing right here. And the second thing I think of when I think about Female Future Africa is a place where we just chill and be at ease, because I think that African women, Black women, always are mostly in a space where where she has to prove herself, or she feels, let's say in a space where there's tension. And I love to be in a space where we just feel ease, fun, and that's the two things I think we can combine: the think tank and the ease part.
I like that. I personally, when I was thinking about Future Female Africa, I had like a long conversation with my older sister, And because we usually, when we talk about my mother, we usually talk about how much pressure she's putting on us, right? And then as we were reflecting about like Africa, future, and female, we realized actually our mothers were kind of paving that future female Africa narrative for us without us really understanding. And then I was digging a little deeper because I'm an entrepreneur, and I always say in press and stuff that I'm the first entrepreneur in my family. They like to say that, right? But then as I was reflecting, I realized I'm actually not the first entrepreneur in my family, because what my mother did was quite entrepreneurial. She came from another country into another country, and then she had all these side hustles. Like she was selling flip phones, remember? And then what else were we selling? They were buying stuff in tons and shipping it over to Ghana to sell it. This is entrepreneurship. Right? But I didn't really acknowledge it in that way until I thought about it in the most, I don't want to say basic, but not Western lens type of way. Because I think from a Western lens, I have a specific view of what entrepreneurship is supposed to look like. But it's actually figuring out a need somewhere and solving that need and making money while doing this. That's all it is, right? And that's what my mother did. So for me, and a lot of other moms, I mean, they came here, opened Afro shops without even knowing how that works. How the hell did they figure out how to bring plantain to Germany? How? I'm so fascinated about that. And to me, that really resonated with me. When I think about future female Africa, I really think about like all the moms and aunties who came and really created a foundation for us to walk on and to thrive, no matter how much pressure there is. It is a lot of pressure still. But it kind of made me feel even more empowered, thinking of it, looking at my mom that way. I look at her differently now, honestly. How is it for you? Let's say, Kemi, what do you think? She said, why?
Honestly, I think of people like you, Nana, who spend their time in different cultures, traveling, and not just having one experience, but also like having one foot there, having one foot in another country, and really trying to combine the best of both worlds. That's my point of view.
Hi, first of all, thank you for the invitation, really, and also thank you to the kitchen. It's really yummy. Yeah. No, thank you, ladies. I really agree with you about think, and creating space to be at ease, because I think that's very important, because I don't really think, especially black women, always have to be strong. I think we have to kind of delete this strongness, this word, because it's also good to have a weak black woman, to have a black woman who can cry and who just wants to be have a shoulder to lean on. And I think we are so creative in all these different fields we are doing, because even to sit here at this table, to have a lawyer next to me, to have a therapist opposite to me, and to have also an entrepreneur opposite to me, and to know we are all in these different fields. And in all these different fields, we have to be creative. We have to find next new tools, especially, of course, because of the digital development, but also because the world is getting smaller. So, and we are all different. We have Africa, we have Asia, we have America, we have Europe, all these different countries, and we are all continents, and we are all in these different continents. We're all there. We're everywhere, and we have to connect. And I think we have the chance to connect if we really work together, and if we really support each other. So I say, female black future is support, think, being at ease, laughing, crying, and enjoying.
Thank you so much. Oh, that was good input, don't you think? Yes. Since we're talking about ease, let me make myself comfortable, because
on this chair,
girl. Okay. When our sister over here, she was speaking about the global interconnectedness of women of African descent now, the digital age, and the fact that we are interdisciplinary, and that we all live on different continents now, the diaspora, and we all have our ties with home, with our individual countries of origin or our homes. I wonder, or my question to you and to you as well is, why do you think, or why do you believe, or maybe not, I don't know, that leadership specifically for women of African descent is so essential to move the world forward?
I think it's because that's the natural way for black women, because like back then it was natural that a woman was leading the community, and I don't think it's natural for us to do it like the European way or the Western way, like where it's always men leading everything, doing all the decisions. So I think it's also kind of like reconnecting to our ancestors and living in a more harmonized way.
Any other thoughts?
I'm still thinking.
Okay.
Just to add something to the question, I think one of the things that you are trying to say is that we were never asked to be strong, or we never had the chance to not be strong. Especially in black households, I'm not sure how it is with you guys, but I have my father at home. But still, I can clearly state that my mom is in charge of everything that happens in our household. And I think with every one of us, I'm not just a daughter. I am in lead of different things. And so what I'm trying to say is that we are natural born leaders. So whatever space we go into, we are the leaders of that space. The only difficulty that we have is that we're never asked. So whenever we're in rooms, that's exactly it, because our opinions are never asked for, our narratives are not asked for. And I think now we're at the stage where we've seen all the different, ways that the work can take, but we've never been seen as black women. And now adding something new to the different ways the world is navigating into, I think we do have the answers.
I also think that having us in leadership positions just would change the world and a complete system of oppression, the different systems of subordination automatically, because we are the most oppressed. Like black women are just at the bottom, and switching that up would just remove the existence of a bottom. So I feel like it will make the world more equitable, and and I just feel like as soon as you actually see black women, as in a leadership position as a normalcy, then you can actually imagine so many other marginalized groups as in a leadership position as normalcy. So this is, it feels like that's the only solution, like put black women on the top,
Yeah, I find this question really, really, really difficult, and I'm still not sure, because you asked why should the future be female-led, black female-led. I'm still not sure whether I'd say yes, it should be like that. All I know is that definitely there should be more female leaders in the future. I think we all know that meme or whatever saying behind every successful man there's a woman, and then what it says behind every successful woman there's herself, and
the WhatsApp group.
Okay, and not putting any feminist nuance to it, but I truly believe that, because I think that women are the better decision makers, and not because we are smarter or whatever, but I think the way our brain functions is more community-led. We really think about everyone, and we are more collectively thinking than men, who are very much more prone to think egoistically. So, and in that sense, I think, despite being black or not black, generally speaking, I think that women should be more in leadership, because we integrate every perspective. We are more likely to put in all the perspectives to reach a good and a common goal. And why should it be black women? It's a really difficult question. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But I think that black women particularly, so if I look at women as such and then a black women have a specific drive that I always feel like when a black woman is in charge, I know like there's a vibe to it. Like there's something about it, I can't really tell, which is really nice. But I do have a concern as well if we take on leadership, is that we will, how you say that? We will strengthen the opinion of that strong black woman, and I don't want that. And so I think because leadership for today is very masculine, which means a black woman who's going to step into a leadership position is more likely to be be seen as the strong black woman. So I would like to think about it, don't have a solution, but how can we be female black women, sensitive black women in leadership without being portrayed as that strong black woman who's untouchable?
This was really great what you said, like really, really great, because I think it's not the solution just to put a black woman in a leadership position and she acts like a white man. This is not the solution. So that's why, like, this is really important what you just said. Like, it should be somebody who is thinking of community, like, not of, like, egoism, disguised as individualism here, like in the Western world, but, like, really somebody who is holding everything together, like, building community.
I just wonder, because when I imagined having black women on top, I also imagined having the whole team as a black, just like Kirkon, like the whole team, just black women, you know? Like, I feel you definitely have a point, because there's this thing of like, as soon as you're in a, let's say Google, and you're in a higher manager position, I've heard so many stories where you just turn into that, you have to turn into that white man in order to be taken serious. And that's also because you don't have any co-colleagues who understand your code. Like, that's already depressing. And then you can't even be vulnerable because, you know, you gotta outshine yourself. Like, and I feel like it has to be not just one person. Like, I feel like the entirety of this, like, it should be normal to have like 10 black women in manager positions.
Like a team.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like, you never see that. It's always, because there's this fear of tokenism, you know? Like, I mean, it's real. So where do you actually see a whole company just black? Like, okay, even if it's not only black women, just black people and at the, okay, this is like, I mean...
You see them in the advertisement.
Yeah, you see them in the, yes. And then you look at the team behind it and you're like, okay, diversity team is all black, POC, cool. And the manager and CEOs are just white people. So I think the question is also like, how do we, of course, get into, like, claim our spaces, but also make these spaces blackity black. Like, not just one person, you know? It shouldn't be on one woman's shoulder, and of course then there's this thing of like the strong black woman who can't crush, you know? And then if you have many strong black figures, you know, like there should be like, you know, trans feminine black woman, like there should be all kind of varieties of blackness, you know? Like, I feel like that would be an ideal form of existing together, you know, and not just fighting for one position, because I think that's where this friction comes in, when you are actually fighting for one position and they're only going to take one black person because two people are too much.
Yeah, that's kind of the scarcity concept, right? Where you think there is only one position, so therefore everyone else becomes your rival, which is not true, obviously, but it's a psychological tactic. We are really deep into like kind of corporate structures and talking about like jobs and managerial positions and so on. But I think a African female future, sorry, can also happen outside of the corporate spaces, right? So maybe we can try to think about that. So what other areas could female leadership impact and move the pendulum, or move everybody forward outside of like the corporate space? Like what other spaces do you see? For example, Louisa and I think Lucy, you were talking about that culturally women of African descent have a different way of thinking, a more communal thinking, which is a benefit to everyone in the global society if everyone would think their way. So there's like a cultural factor of being of African descent and a woman that we would bring to the table that would benefit everybody. Outside of the corporate space. Oh, you're uncomfortable? Are you?
No.
Okay.
That's
He's
no,
like,
I, no, no, no. I have a
agree.
weird way of thinking. I always think about stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
all right.
But I do have a thought now.
Yes.
So what I was thinking, another space which I find actually the most important space and the base of everything is strong families, and not to say strong black families. I think if we want to succeed in future, I think the basis that we need are strong brackets black family. And why do I think that is because your family is your rock. This is when you have a strong family. This is where your character is being molded and shaped. It's where you can where your potentials are being supported by your family. Many of my friends, for example, grew up in separated families, where then they already learned your black don't mingle with a black man or don't do that with a black woman or whatever. So this one already has a negative impact on our psychology. Then also strong black family, let's say if I put it also together with an economically strong family, which doesn't mean rich, but meaning, all right, we put our finances together in order to invest in our children, which means we can invest in education, in social activities, which are really important in the frühkindliche Bildung, early stage. Exactly. So I think that early childhood education is the base for everything. And I think this is something a strong black family should be able to do. And why female? Because I think that the woman, let me put it differently. I think women have the capacity to see this potential. Men are mostly, let's say, very pragmatic, very hustling oriented. And I think the women see potentials in everyone and can nurture them.
Interesting perspective. I would want to challenge this a little bit, if I may, because I think as women, we are definitely capable of tapping into traditionally masculine roles. Where I see the challenge is when this is all we do. I feel like this leads to exhaustion, and this is what I experience a lot, like as a business owner, obviously. But I do think that we are capable of fulfilling every role, including, if we have to, the traditionally masculine role. You said that the factor with the broken family, I do agree, but I also see how our mothers, when they did not have a choice, were capable to activate everything that we needed. So I wouldn't want to, I want to make sure that I give our mothers their flowers, you know, that they were capable and they did everything and they carried it all in those situations. But I absolutely understand where you are coming from. So I'm not saying it's not true. I just wanted to, spice it up a bit.
I know what you mean. Like, I think it's very important that we have, like, black women. They can do everything, for sure. But we also need the space to live our feminine side as well. And often we forget this, or we don't get this space. And we have to act in our masculine energy like 80-90% of the time, and that's not healthy.
Yeah. I've got one question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I provocative when I speak? Maybe you repeat what you said. I just know because okay, I hope you're not all gonna leave now. No, I just said because in the field I'm working and especially because of all these movements we just recently had. I don't have the feeling there's a difference. The only feeling I have, everyone is just like kind of going up and down with all this inclusion, diversity and all these stuffs, but it's kind of still a label. I totally agree with you underneath, but I think it's good the kids, the next generation is able to see themselves not with crying with flies in their eyes, begging for a piece of rice or a handful of rice, because these are the pictures I grew up with. And I think it's beautiful. We have all the pictures, so little girls and boys, especially with my skin color, can see themselves every day if they go by bus to school or whatever. So that's beautiful, even though it's not deep. So, but I think this labeling we always have, and it's even getting more. It's not getting less. It's just more and more and more. And so that's why I said, of course, I'm a black woman. And even my daughters know they are black daughters and they have a black woman and they know the kind of vibe you talked about. Someone talked about a vibe, which is totally right. Because there's a difference to have a room full of black women and to have a room full of white women. It's a different vibe. And that's what our children get to know, these different vibes we have. And even to know what kind of black woman. Is she from Africa? Is she from Asian? Is she from the States? These even, is she from Germany? Is she Afro-German? These vibes are also totally different. Because we are all different and we all have different culture identities. And I think we have to talk about culture identity. Being a woman, because what we have is the culture identity which kind of way gives us, which our parents gives us, our moms and dads gives us. Because Ingrid has got a bit of Ghana in her. I've got more Nigerian in me. You've got Ghana in you. I don't know. You've got Congo in yourself. So, and these three countries are so different. And even with Nigeria, are you Yoruba? Are you Igbo? Are you Hausa? That's already a big step. And I think we have to talk about cultural identities, because that's what I'm trying to give my children, because that's what's going to make them strong. And that's going to make them possible to kind of fly and from one country to another country and be able to live, because then they're going to understand to see and understand human beings. And we have to talk about humanity.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify the thing with Louisa. She wasn't talking about not having advertisement. She was more so criticizing that there is advertisement, but then if you look behind the advertisement, the companies are not diverse. I just wanted to clarify that for you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you at this point also for the invite. And I feel like this conversation is getting a bit, we're digging deep right now. And I definitely agree with what you say, Sherry, about, looking into the cultural identity and, like having humanity as the shared denominator, and that being like the driver. However, I have to say that it does make a massive difference if we're talking about women, or if we're talking about black women, and maybe or African women. Me, I'm Jamaican, from the diaspora, African as well, but yeah. The thing is, there's the term intersectionality that plays a large role here, and I feel like once a black woman is in power, we're shifting the narrative, and we're really, not going to go into this trap of a white supremacist, in a way, leadership, where we only have that one person at the top. Instead, we're going to have a community, way of leading, and the question that you just had, Nana, was what aspects will be affected by that. And it is family, the family unit, but it also is policy. It's also legal. It's so many different levels that we would be impacting with, having a black woman or having several black women at the top and leading things, just because that, sheds so much more light on the plight that black women have had throughout history. So I think that there's like it's very important to just like keep that in mind. And I don't think that a white woman can, resonate with that entire history that we as a community have experienced. And therefore, it goes to say that I would say let's continue talking about black women, but also, I'm saying this to everybody, please, not only to Sherry, obviously, but like also, bring in the cultural identity, obviously, and break it down even more and, look at that. How can we continue this legacy that we want? But there's something to say about black women being always labeled as so strong, and that narrative that then would be shifted if we'd have more black women in power, in positions of decision making, and that's why I'm so grateful for, an event like this that brings us together, that lets us share these experiences and these thoughts and help us shape that future female Africa.
Wow. Can I just say one sentence to what she just said? Just a really quick sentence. I love exactly what just happened. I think that's the think tank, what we need. But there's one thing I want to, I thought of mine. I think we need to be very strategic in our communication. I think, labeling black women, not labeled, is a really difficult topic, but I think within our think tank, we can do so. But I think outside, we should not label ourselves as black women. I think outside this world, I never talk about my skin color. I never make it an issue no matter where I go. Because as soon as I do that, I show my opposite that I know of my so-called inferiority. I don't do that. I never talk about my skin color. I never label myself. So I think we should be very strategic within, among us in our safe space. I think we can ponder upon it. But outside of it, I think we should just be a human being full of competencies.
Lovely. But I would like to challenge that.
Of course. No problem.
No, I totally understand. Again, I understand where you're coming from. But I think it's not us, with us calling ourselves black women, that we invite hardship or mistreatment. The mistreatment comes either way, whether we call ourselves black women or not. So it has nothing to do with what... Exactly. They will see us from afar, from up close. They will see and they will call it something, whether they call it black or something else. So I don't think I will... I don't think... not calling myself a black woman will change anything in regards to how other people treat me in spaces where I am not the majority anyways. But again, something I want to stress is that in this room and in this journey, we're talking about a future female Africa. So the African factor to me, and I think to us as we created that, is a difference from the terminology of black, because black is a political construct, and it helps us argue and make coalitions and so on and so forth, and also fight for our rights and all these things. But I think using the term African has that specific cultural nuance to it. Therefore we chose, or Wanji, better said, chose the term Africa instead of black, because with black you think of the political construct, but with Africa you actually think of the cultural context, right? So I just wanted to stress that again as we have to close. I'm sorry. To make sure that we all have the same understanding of what we mean when we say future female Africa. Maybe one closing statement. Finish the sentence. An African female future-led world will
be a home to everybody.
Love it. Shall I repeat it? An African female-led future will
be a happy place.
Mm-hmm. An African female-led future will.
Oh my God, so many things. Okay.
We in Germany, you can put comma, 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 comma. It's allowed here.
Do you really want me to do that?
Schachtelsätze.
Ja? So 1000 Nebensätze? Okay. Oh, wenn das jetzt auf Deutsch wäre, ne? Ich hatte echt Nebensätze. Okay. Future female Africa world. Sorry? I'm so sorry.
African female-led future will.
Okay. An African female-led future will.
Let me change mine.
So
you can think. No, but oh my God! No, but what came to my mind was that a female Africa and whatsoever has me in mind. So that's something that really dawned on me right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, you're making it harder. Wow. Okay, it will actually make the future feel less scary. Yeah.
It will remove fear. Okay.
I still don't know. I had enough time to think. But literally, the thing I was thinking about is a future female Africa-led world will definitely serve really good food at events.
Naija Jollof.
With some nice seasoning.
No. We're not having this poison here. Naija Jollof. With that being said, thank you so much to the panelists. Applause to the panelists.
Thank you to you.
Thank you.
And enjoy the dessert.